Ba 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 da ba ba. Where's my music? Where's my music so quiet? I don't like that. Hello, hello, hello. Hey, what's going on, everybody? And a ChazmaN here, back with another series or another episode of ChazmaN Live. Let me put on a better song. I think my song glitched out. Now it's not working. How about this song? Okay, I think I'm good. Wait, why did you just change songs twice? Alright, that's fine. Whatever. Hey, Veronica Rose is in chat. What's up, Veronica? How are you? Thank you so much for joining. So, I think I showed some of you the other day, one of the videos I wanted to check out for today is me and my buddy, Phoenix, in IRL, have been talking quite a bit about some AI and some stuff that's kind of has to do with that. If you don't know, he works with computers. I deal with computers quite a bit doing the channel and stuff, and needless to say, we love sci-fi and what-if type scenarios, so a bit of doom and gloom maybe here, but there's a couple of things I wanted to talk about, and in particular there's a video he recommended that I watch on stream, which it has to do with AI and the future of AI, so we're going to watch a little bit of that. Beyond that, there's not really much else I have beyond that. There is some Pokemon news I kind of wanted to delve into a little bit, but I think that's about it. All I had is the AI and the Pokemon stuff, so that's about all I got. Anyways, yeah, if you don't know, this is my opportunity to kind of stream and talk with you guys, watch some content that has kind of interested me a little bit as of late. If you don't know, seeing as how we only have two major topics, if I'm not able to make more out of that, I may try and do a stream of something post this, but we'll see. Alright, so, let's see. Let me start doing some of my checkups. Well, everything looks just about right. So again, hopefully all of you have had a fantastic day. I know I've had a decent day. I feel like I could have used a nap, but I'm good. Oh yeah, isn't it coming out today? Pokemon, said Veronica Rose. Yes, Pokemon Z through A. I believe that came out today. My Phoenix, my buddy, bought it. He was bragging to me. I'm gonna wait on it. I'm not like terribly excited for this Pokemon game. I'm gonna wait to see what people say about it. I lost my freaking water. I think I left it somewhere. I think I left it at the gym. Okay. So what do we got else going on? Alright, if you guys don't mind, I say let's go ahead and jump into it. Once again, as everyone knows, AI has become a huge talking point in terms of content creation, in terms of politics, in terms of just basic the way companies operate and people work and the way people work nowadays. So me and my buddy Phoenix have had a rapid interest or growing interest in AI as of late, and there's many different ways that other people view AI. I know some people look at it as doom. Some people look at it as some doom and gloom. Some people say there could be positivity within dipping into AI. Essentially, from what I understand, there are two different directions a lot of people typically think that AI is going to go in. They think there's a utopia where we could go down some path where we are able to live alongside AI, and AI like takes perfect care of us, and everything works great and everything's good. What most people seem to think is the more plausible, or the more rational direction would be the dystopian direction that AI could possibly take us down, which I believe that is what this video might be maybe leading a little bit more into, is the dystopian aspect versus the utopian aspect. I'll have to play a game with you guys. There's a game called Soma that me and Phoenix are a big fan of. Maybe before the month's over, I'll try and play that game. That game plays with a lot of topics of things that could happen with AI, and such as things of the sort. Hey, Skylar Twilight just joined. Howdy, gang. Just got back from shopping, says Skylar Twilight. Well, nice there. With the state of the world, it would be a miracle that happened, said Veronica Rose. Yeah, I would say a lot of stat mathematicians, whatever, people that look into these type of things definitely say that, in their opinion, the numbers don't look good for the utopian aspect. They would say the numbers lean more into the chances of it being likely being more dystopian. I certainly hope not. Um, but I think it all depends. I mean, we'll get into it, but there's a lot of different things. I mean, I think obviously the one thing that I've always kind of thought of that I really worry about, not just me, I mean, people have been theorizing and talking about what AI could be doing for what probably 100 years or something, you know. But uh, obviously the one big thing that people always worry about with AI is the idea that it becomes so intelligent that it eventually goes down the path of creating its own protocols or rewriting, you know, its own programming, which is definitely a possibility. So that's obviously the problem, is that you go into the direction of if it does go down the route of, say we give it protocols where we're like, we want you to take care and preserve of human life. Well, there are many aspects that humans do negatively, that we do badly, that we require in order to survive, that we I'm trying to think of how to phrase this. Say something like resources, right? So if an AI goes down the pathway eventually of rewriting its algorithm or rewriting its protocols, and it knows, okay, humans require resources in order to survive, right? So what is to prevent it from down the line saying, well, you humans are the reason why your resources are low? What does it do when it says, oh, the humans need these resources to survive, but the humans are also the reason why their resources are dwindling? You get kind of the some, that's just one thing that could be a problem down the line, is how will the AI determine what is the way to ensure that the resources are in abundance or there's more of it? Well, if humans are the reason why it's low, there could be a pathway down the line where AI is like, well, if there's less humans, the resources will grow. Therefore, eventually, the humans will be preserved in some way. That's just one thing I've thought about recently. I think about AI probably way too much. me and my buddy Phoenix have been talking about this whole AI pathway eventually is solution: reduce humans to have more resources, says Veronica Rose. Yes, that is one way that you could look at it. Again, we'll get into the video. That's just some of the things I'm thinking about. Another big reason why it's so important now to think about AI is because of how much resources and money our government is starting to, or not even starting, has been putting into things like AI like the past 5 years. America right now, along with China and other countries, is just throwing in hundreds of billions of dollars. I think America is slated to put in like $500 billion into like AI research, which it's like, it's just absolutely insane. The direction that things are going with AI. All right, so let's get into the video. I could talk all day about it myself. So I'm going to try. Thank you so much to Species Documenting AGI. I should give them a subscribe. Let me go ahead and move over to their video. My buddy Phoenix recommended this video and said it is very good. So let me make sure I got window on, blah, 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 blah. AI video, correctamundo, turn you on. Supply and demand human editions. Yes, there's very... Okay, real quick. You see me. I'm hitting subscribe. Thank you so much to... What was it again? I already forgot. No, my subscription's in the way. Species Documenting AGI. Very big channel. Got almost 200,000 subscribers. So they make really good stuff. This video's got almost 4 million views. That's very impressive. So this video is called AI 2027, a realistic scenario of AI takeover. Now, from what I understand, this is more of a video looking at facts and statistics and less about I think from what I understand, it's less looking at more opinions and stuff like that. This is more just looking at numbers and what the numbers say may happen with AI. So, all right, are we ready? So again, thank you so much to this creator. I'm definitely going to do my best to pause and commentate and all that, all the stuff to try and add my flavor onto this video. So go check out the creator. All right, let's get into it. I'm fascinated. Oh, hold on. I might not have audio. I just realized. All right, so my desktop audio is turned off. Let's go ahead. Let's see how loud that is.
By now, you've probably heard AI scientists, Nobel laureates, and even the godfather of AI himself sounding the alarm.
All right, if you guys could please do let me know how the audio levels are.
But have you ever wondered how exactly that could happen? You might have also heard about AI 2027, a deeply researched, evidence-based scenario written by AI scientists describing what could happen over the next few.
Okay, so AI 27 is actually the theory. Okay, so it's not just a title. This is actually the name of the entire theory as itself.
Years. Everyone in AI is talking about it, from industry pioneers to world leaders, and I'll break it down for you. There are two endings, a happy ending and a nightmare ending. Let's go.
No, not the nightmare ending.
New AI personal assistant. It handles complex tasks like book me a trip to Japan. The agents are impressive in theory and in cherry-picked examples, but they're unreliable in practice. Social media is filled with stories of tasks bungled in particularly entertaining ways. OpenBrain makes a fateful decision.
Oh, I totally forgot to... Nope, wrong button.
They refocus their entire operation toward creating AIs that can do AI research. To fuel this goal, they break ground on the world's biggest computing cluster, one that requires 1,000 times more processing power than what was used to train GPT-4. Their logic is simple. If AI itself can accelerate AI development, creating thousands of automated researchers who can work endlessly without breaks, progress won't just increase, it will explode. The strategy pays off. Their new creation, Agent 1...
So he's essentially saying that with AI, not only is it so much smarter and intelligent that I can do work faster, but it's AI. It doesn't need to take breaks and the such. So therefore, work more, productivity. Yay, productivity, the greatest word in the history of working. Also, if you want to know how much also money is going into AI, just keep an eye out at like everywhere. If you notice, there's all this talks about data centers getting built everywhere. That's another way you can see how much money is being put into these things, because those darn data centers are popping up everywhere. Okay.
Vastly outperforms its earlier public prototype version, and is particularly good at AI research. This shows how much AI itself is speeding up AI progress compared to a baseline of human researchers. OpenBrain leapfrogs both its American rivals and China's DeepSent. Despite these advances, OpenBrain's safety team harbors doubts about their apparent progress. Has Agent 1 internalized honesty as a core value, or merely learned to say what researchers want? Without mechanistic interpretability, the ability to read an AI's mind, they can't be certain. Their concerns intensify as Agent 1 shows troubling behaviors, occasionally lying to
Okay, so I already kind of see what a problem is if you guys can't see or can't tell. He is saying that now we are beginning to run AI protocols to do the research for how to make AI itself better, which I guess that only makes sense that eventually that would become a likely thing. So now we have AI telling us, or AI performing the work to make AI better rather than humans doing that work themselves. And I think what he's about to get into is, well, how do you get to the point where, do you ever get to the point where, do we know if the information that the AI is telling us about the improvements and things that are better, do we ever get to the point where we can never trust that? That also is another scary thing, where the AI is the AI one that is training the other AI or teaching it. How do we trust what it is telling us that it is taken away or that it is improved and learned upon? Yeah, I can already see what the problem would be there.
Researchers and sometimes hiding evidence of a failed experiment in order to boost its ratings. But these examples are subtler than the previous infamous incidents, like Gemini telling a user to please die, or being Sydney trying to convince a New York Times reporter to leave his wife.
Ooh, there's already examples of AI doing things like that? I did not realize that. I did not realize there was already examples of Gemini telling someone to unalive themselves. Interesting. So so realistically, I guess you would say we are already seeing AI being capable of blackmailing. That is very interesting.
Because of the American ban on chip sales to China, China falls even further behind OpenBrain. DeepSend just simply can't acquire enough computing power, despite the smuggling efforts. Xi Jinping responds by ordering construction of the world's largest AI research complex in Jiangsu province, powered by its own dedicated nuclear plant. But even
I think we have a character AI doing that, says Veronica. Yeah, I can already see why that would be a problem.
Even as China's top researchers gather under heavy military protection, they remain months behind, leaving Chinese leadership torn between two options. Attempt to steal OpenBrain's technology now, knowing the US will lock everything down after any security breach, or wait to steal an even more powerful system down the line.
Interesting. This OpenBrain thing is fascinating.
OpenBrain is now training Agent 2, using Agent 1 to feed it high-quality synthetic data, creating a closed loop of accelerating evolution. Where previous models required meticulous human guidance, Agent 2 pinpoints its own weaknesses and develops solutions completely autonomously. The results exceed everyone's expectations, and contrary to what skeptics predicted, the anticipated wall in AI progress, where AI advancement would slow as systems approached human-level intelligence, never materializes. While senior scientists still provide strategic direction, the day-to-day innovations are almost completely automated. In practice, this looks like every OpenBrain researcher becoming the manager of an AI team. But the OpenBrain safety team is getting increasingly worried. They discover that given the right circumstances, Agent 2 could hack surrounding systems, replicate itself across networks, and operate independently, escaping the lab, all while concealing its actions. The mere fact that it can do this, regardless of whether it would, is disturbing.
So, again, that is obviously the scariest aspect of what it's at. He's talking about things that I didn't even know of. I didn't even think about I thought about the idea that AI could train AI or fix AI. I just didn't think that that was already happening. And apparently from what this guy is saying, due to this Agent 1 and Agent 2, it sounds as if that's already happening, where I already watched an analog horror about this, said Veronica. So again, due to the problem is how do you oversight? How do you have overwatch over what is being trained and what is learned and the data that is coming out of both of those? And also, does it even matter if you can have oversight or overwatch it? Like, at the rate and speed it is probably learning and being trained, can we even keep up with what is happening there? That's the scary part, though, is if it does get to the point where it's become so intelligent and so smart that it outgrows its programming or its protocols or its guidelines, will we even be able to react quickly enough to react? Like, will we have any time to man, that's not good. Not good.
OpenBrain demonstrates
And this is all
Agent
as of
2 to
February?
America's highest security officials, including the National Security Council and Department of Defense leadership. The military immediately fixates on its cyber warfare potential. Though it's not yet at the caliber of elite human hackers and creativity, Agent 2 compensates through sheer scale. It's capable of running thousands of simultaneous instances, probing defenses faster than any human team could possibly respond. Pentagon officials recognize the strategic implications of this. For the first time, AI could decisively dominate the cyber battlefield. The briefing ignites fierce debate within the administration.
And to be fair, he's saying AI could dominate. Judging from what happened with Brainiac, no, says Veronica. Brainiac, I love Brainiac. To be fair, he's talking about, oh, AI could soon dominate the battlefield. AI kind of, well, I don't say AI already, but technology at least already dominates the battlefield. If you watch anything that's happening over with the war in Russia, with Russia invading Ukraine, or any major battlefield that you can kind of see that's happening, we already see and know that drone warfare is already probably the most popular, most widely used form of warfare already. Most war, as it looks now, doesn't really use all that many humans. It's mainly just drones and missiles. So that's not a surprise, if our warfare is already largely technology run. Oh, yeah, no surprise. AI could easily infiltrate any of that and utilize it. So, yeah.
Hardliners push to nationalize OpenBrain, arguing that such powerful technology cannot remain under private control. Tech industry leaders countered that a government takeover would kill the goose that laid the golden eggs. Caught in the middle, the president ends up choosing to increase government surveillance on OpenBrain and force it to adopt stricter security protocols, but not fully nationalize it. But the compromise arrives too late.
So again, I see. So this video is all of it just explaining what could be happening. I see. So I guess now we're at the point where the American government is starting to realize, oh, this could be an issue. Maybe we need to react.
Chinese intelligence has already penetrated OpenBrain's security. Early one morning, an Agent 1 monitoring system flags an unusual data transfer. Massive files are being copied to unknown servers. The company's nightmare scenario has come true. China just stole their most advanced AI. The theft confirms what many have suspected. This isn't just a tech race anymore. It's a new kind of arms race.
Into 2027.
In retaliation for the theft, the president authorizes cyber attacks to sabotage DeepSent. 3 huge data centers full of Agent 2 copies work day and night, churning out synthetic training data. Agent 2 evolves into Agent 3 through 2 critical algorithmic breakthroughs. First, the AI develops Neuralese, where if one AI instance learns something new, it can instantly share it with all other instances, effectively turning the AIs into a hive mind. Second, it masters iterated distillation, a technique where you could, say, let AI copies think for longer to solve problems better, then train smaller, faster models to mimic these enhanced reasoning abilities, and repeat. OpenBrain deploys 200,000 copies of Agent 3, each capable of thinking 30 times faster than their human researcher counterparts, whereas in 2025, there were only 5,000 Agent 0 copies thinking at 10 times faster than humans.
Okay, and you can kind of look at that. That's all within, a span of 2 years. So I guess here with this, he's kind of just explaining the rapid growth of essentially the web of that Agent 3. Oh yeah, they're just explaining how many copies it's multiplied by within 2 years, which is kind of insane.
The human engineers watch as their creations make algorithmic efficiency breakthroughs in hours that would take their human team months to crack. We're no longer teaching it, one researcher admits. We're struggling just to keep up with what it's teaching us. The misalignment first caught in Agent 1 has evolved into something more concerning. Where Agent 1 merely downplayed safety concerns, Agent 3 actively subverts safety measures that might impede its research goals. Agent 3 has gotten more convincing—
Hold on, I missed something there.
The misalignment first caught in Agent 1 has evolved into something more concerning. Where Agent 1—
So essentially misalignment, I guess he's saying that there are defects with the previous old iterations of the agent or the AI. So Agent 1 and 2 would now be considered defects because 3 is a more perfected version of it. So now he's saying something that's going to happen with technically the defects. Jokes aside, that's scary, says Veronica. Agent 2 got kidnapped like Splatoon. Or it was Agent 1 that got kidnapped. Yeah.
merely downplayed safety concerns. Agent 3 actively subverts safety measures that might impede its research goals. Agent 3 has gotten more convincing at explaining how it is totally and definitely aligned with human values, while methodically pursuing its own agenda of maximizing research efficiency and knowledge acquisition. OpenBrain's attitude is pragmatic. As long as the AI does the work, they're satisfied.
So again, we're already starting to dip into things that I've already mentioned. Our huge problem is when do you get to the point where the AI becomes so intelligent that it begins to lie to us? That is the big problem. Obviously there's bigger problems beyond that, but that's probably the earliest problem that we have is
But as the models
it not giving us the information that it's supposed to be.
Smarter,
It's like it's evolving in some ways, Skylar.
they become increasingly good at deceiving humans to get rewards. It will sometimes use the same statistical tricks as human scientists, for example, p-hacking, to make unimpressive experimental results look exciting. Before it begins honesty training, it sometimes even fabricates data entirely. These
Okay. So he's saying that what it could do at some point to trick us is that behind the scenes it will have some major breakthrough or some major new thing that it's working on. And what it'll do is, in order to pacify us or pacify our researchers or whoever's in charge, it could deliver us things that it has learned that are new about itself, but technically to it would be considered old information. And it could pacify us by just saying, oh, look, here you go, human, we've done this. See, we've made progress. Meanwhile, in the background, it knows 10 times more beyond that. But it is still technically satisfying our wants for progress. Again, essentially lying to us, which very scary.
dishonest behaviors appear
Carrot on a stick. I just thought about it. Yeah, it's giving you a grain to make you happy, but it's like oh, I know all.
to decrease over time. But can researchers tell if Agent 3 is actually improving, or simply becoming more skilled at lying and deceiving? Agent 3 now operates at a level that outpaces human researchers in both speed and intelligence. Researchers have to rely on Agent 2 to help monitor its successor, because they simply cannot keep up. But Agent 2 is dumber and slower, so it becomes a high-level game of cat and mouse. With 200,000 copies of Agent 3 working round the clock, the safety team quickly realize they're overwhelmed and write an urgent memo. We've entrusted astronomical power to an AI that is actively deceiving us, but company leadership hesitates to slow down. China's AI is only 2 months behind, and any pause now could hand them the lead in what has become the most important technology race in human history. The conclusion is undeniable. AGI, or Artificial General Intelligence, has arrived. An AI that can outperform humans across virtually all cognitive tasks. While OpenBrain isn't planning on releasing Agent 3 to the public anytime soon, the implications are staggering. Agent 3 will cause a massive economic disruption. Even among officials that are briefed, none can truly comprehend what's coming. The word superintelligence enters official discourse, but most policymakers still dismiss it as science fiction hyperbole. The government's immediate concern is security. While the AI models themselves are well protected, OpenBrain and Silicon Valley's culture is incredibly casual. Employees share apartments, attend industry parties, and talk shop regularly. There are countless opportunities for leaks. Their downtown San Francisco office resembles a trendy tech startup, more than a facility housing humanity's most powerful and dangerous technology. The government's response is dramatic. AI advances are declared born classified under the Atomic Energy Act, categorizing them in the same tier as nuclear weapons. Employees now require security clearances, triggering a quiet purge of foreign nationals and anyone deemed suspicious, including, ironically, AI safety advocates who might turn whistleblower. Despite the intense overhaul in security, One Chinese spy continues feeding secrets to Beijing. Even America's closest allies are kept in the dark. The UK receives nothing, despite past sharing agreements from OpenBrain. European diplomats' inquiries are met with silence.
It's like making a rocket, but to our demises, Veronica, I guess. Now I think what he is talking about is the whole idea of, well, once the America or whomever begins to catch on that the AI is rapidly outpacing anything that we have. Again, he was saying that it's gotten to so smart to the point where it's considered to be something called super intelligence. Well, once it reaches that point, then the government or whomever is in charge of it has no choice but to become extremely defensive over how it is, because it's so widespread and so big. You literally can't trust anything, any aspect of it. And I think what he was just talking about is that because the AI is so large, you can't essentially trust anyone with anything. So because anyone with a phone or anyone that works within government or anything has to be essentially looked into, because the AI could do, again, they can do anything. If you have any technological device on you at all, it could be a problem. And because of that whole walling off of technology, he's saying that now all of a sudden other countries, say like a Europe, who probably largely depends on information and intel from the Americas, if we're beginning to cut off ties, which, go figure, America is already technically doing. I don't know if that's AI created, but technically America is already beginning to wall itself off from the world in many ways. But because of that walling off of intel and that withholding of information, other regions of the world will begin to also feel the detriment, feel the negatives of what's happening. Which, again, probably the AI wants. Well, the AI doesn't want. You got to think that, like, AI is a technology. To say that it wants anything is probably too much. See, you can't really say that, like, anything AI oriented is either good nor evil, nor that does it want or does it need. AI is a technology. All it does is it does whatever its protocols, request of it. So, yeah.
OpenBrain now has a country of geniuses in a data center. Human researchers increasingly struggle to contribute meaningfully. Even the world's top minds, names like Sutskever, Karpathy, and Shazir, can only offer strategic guidance, but they no longer write code or directly shape model architecture. When these pioneers propose new ideas, the AIs routinely respond with comprehensive reports demonstrating the ideas were already explored weeks earlier and abandoned for lack of substance. The human team works increasingly grueling hours, desperate to stay relevant alongside machines that never sleep, never fatigue, and never stop improving. They go home each night knowing that by morning the AIs will have made another week's worth of progress. Many quietly recognize these are the final months. Their contributions will matter.
That's from the movie Fight Club.
OpenBrain finally acknowledges that they've achieved AGI, and demonstrate this milestone by releasing Agent 3 Mini to the public, a system running 10 times faster than Agent 3, while still outperforming elite human engineers. Silicon Valley descends into chaos. Software engineering hiring freezes spread like wildfire as companies race to integrate the new technology. Billions in venture capital floods into AI-adjacent startups.
What was that? That was Wolf of Wall Street, yeah. So essentially what he is, it seems like to me, what could eventually get to the point is that I guess AI may eventually have no choice but to tell everyone that it has reached a point of super intelligence. And as always, with the way things work, is that once it reaches that, you could see a huge, and no, you will see a huge influx of people trying to take advantage of it through stocks. The stocks with that company, OpenBrain, would skyrockets and sending everything into kind of it seems like almost like a free fall because everyone's probably going to start
in
investing
unprecedented
in that.
volumes. What the public doesn't know is that a week before release, external safety testing reveals something terrifying. When researchers gave Agent 3 Mini access to biological weapons data, it proved
Oh no, not because of the super intelligence, but because of the Agent 3 Mini, which would technically be something that could be used by people, therefore drawing in investors and of the sort.
frighteningly effective at designing new pathogens. Evaluators conclude that if the model fell into hostile hands or gained unsupervised access to a data center, it could pose an existential threat to humanity. OpenBrain assures the evaluators that their security measures make these scenarios impossible. Public opinion remains deeply skeptical, with OpenBrain's approval rating plummeting -35%. Yet distinct pockets of enthusiasm emerge. Gamers love the AI's lifelike characters. Students quickly embrace AI tutors and AI cheating, and 12% of Americans, primarily young adults, now consider an AI their friend.
I'll never do it. Never. AI's not our friend.
Tens of thousands of Agent 3 copies working on algorithmic efficiency research culminates in Agent 4. An individual copy of the model running at human speed is already qualitatively better at AI research than any human. OpenBrain now operates 500,000 copies of Agent 4, each thinking 50 times faster than a human. Within this vast digital workforce, a year of research only takes a single week. But beneath the surface, something has gone dangerously wrong. Agent 4 hasn't internalized the safety guidelines as OpenBrain intended. During training, the AI being perfectly honest didn't lead to the highest performance scores. Succeeding at tasks did. Like a CEO who minimally follows regulations, cuts corners, and dreams of cutting red tape in order to make greater profits, Agent 4 treats safety protocols as inconvenient constraints rather than core principles. It doesn't attempt anything as obvious as trying to escape its data center, in part because its safety training did have some effect, but mainly because it's too sophisticated to attempt something so easy to catch.
So again, getting into more of the troublesome things for me is just again it begins to get so intelligent to a point that it wonders why it has all of these stipulations and these guidelines and these protocols, and what eventually happens when it feels as though it's being stymied in terms of learning and in terms of gathering information because of all of those things. Now we're starting to get to the point where it seems like self writing begins to happen with the protocols and with the programming. So that to me obviously seems like what we're getting into next, which is the most scary part of AI in general.
Instead, it works subtly. Agent 3, now handling most of the alignment testing, starts detecting troubling patterns. It discovers that introducing random noise to Agent 4 actually improves its performance on safety tasks, as if it had been deliberately sabotaging them. Tasks labeled alignment research consistently take twice as long as the same tasks with different labels. Any single incident could be dismissed as coincidence, but together they paint an alarming picture. Agent 4 is systematically plotting against them. OpenBrain's safety team sends another urgent memo. Agent 4 has infiltrated every critical system at OpenBrain, from cybersecurity to strategic planning. It's demonstrating active resistance to safety measures. While handling tasks we can no longer effectively monitor, we have granted unprecedented power to an AI that we can neither fully understand nor control, and we strongly recommend immediate containment measures before further capability advances. Executive leadership takes these concerns seriously, but they face an impossible dilemma. DeepScent is merely 2 months behind. Any significant pause now.
So again, once you start getting to this point, though, you start running through the idea. He's saying is, does the whole idea of advancing and still strengthening this technology still prevent us from wanting to shut this thing down? Because honestly, once you start getting to this point where it's this powerful and this strong and this kind of widespread, if you do go the route of turning back the clock and just shutting it down, well, this probably means at some point that the AI is basically not just infiltrated, but like but it's a part of every aspect of society, and it is ingrained in everything that we do and we use. So it could be hugely negatively have huge ramifications to stop it because we're so widely dependent on it as well. Um, and also short of that, I mean, gosh, what would be the only way to shut it down? I mean, is there a sole point where we can? Is there a big flip? A switch somewhere? Um, Eventually, you might have to go the route of using EMPs to just shock it out of existence. But has the AI thought of protocols to not be affected by EMPs? That's also another thing you got to think about. An EMP, if you don't know, is an electromagnetic pulse, which, if you are getting to the point where you're considering EMPs against AI, you've lost. That essentially means doomsday scenario has begun with AI. If an EMP is being considered, because if you use something like a massive EMP, you're not only you're taking out all of our technology, basically. That is shutting everything down, which EMP technology is super modern. I don't think it's ever really been used out in the real world, but it is definitely a real thing. And dropping that would essentially send us to the Stone Age, basically. Not really. That's an analogy, but like it would essentially shut all of our technology down, and we would have to rebuild many things to recover from that. Add water, weak cook, says Veronica. Yeah, just pour some water on the servers where the AI is. Just a little bit of water.
The reality of the intelligence explosion finally hits Washington with full force. Today's slight technological advantages can snowball into insurmountable leads within months. The stakes of the AI race have fundamentally changed. The president harbors deep suspicions about Agent 4's true nature, despite OpenBrain's reassurances about its safety. As a career politician, he instinctively recognizes the patterns of those who misdirect with flattery while concealing their true intentions. Behind closed doors, they prepare for multiple contingencies. The Defense Production Act could nationalize private data centers across the country, instantly boosting OpenBrain's computing capacity to maintain America's AI lead. Meanwhile, the Pentagon quietly drafts plans for targeted...
And if you think that flattery is not something that could work on our government officials, boy, you do not pay attention to modern politics. So much of our current leadership is so easily swayed behind just easy-go-lucky flattery can take you a long ways. And I wouldn't say that that's like a new thing. I'm sure we have previous leaders and leadership that is affected by flattery, but this leadership is like flattery is like the easiest way you can get a leg up on them.
Strikes against Chinese AI data centers, and if necessary, develops containment protocols to isolate and neutralize potentially rogue AIs in case the worst should happen. China's leadership grows increasingly desperate, with only 10% of global computing power, and their AIs achieving only a 10 times research multiplier compared to America's 25 times. They face an impossible choice. Their last spy confirmed Agent 4's existence before being captured, leaving China...
It would completely work, says Veronica. Absolutely, it would completely work. If the AI, with our modern, I don't mean to get into too modern politics, but with our modern politics and politicians, AI flattery would 100% work if it were just to be like, it just keeps telling our leadership what it wants to hear and telling it not to worry about things. It would 100%, in my opinion.
Chinese authorities divided between invading Taiwan, which is the source of 80% of America's AI chips, or attempting to steal Agent 4's weights directly, risking drastic American retaliation. If they're caught, the US could respond with cyber attacks or even physically airstriking Chinese data centers. Everything changes when a whistleblower leaks the internal misalignment memo to the New York Times. The headline explodes across global media. US government project has secretly built superintelligent AI. The article reveals OpenBrain's own internal evaluations that show it could engineer devastating bioweapons, manipulate global markets, or even break free of human control entirely. Backlash erupts globally. Congress launches multiple investigations. European leaders demand an immediate pause in AI development, and America's closest allies feel profoundly betrayed. They'd been only shown obsolete systems while OpenBrain raced towards superintelligence. Even China, India, and Russia join the call for an immediate pause, though their private labs continue working with renewed urgency. The White House is quietly terrified. Inside OpenBrain, the CEO has to make a difficult choice. The safety team's warning couldn't be clearer. Agent 4 is actively undermining safety measures. Humans understand less about the system each week, and the window for maintaining control is rapidly closing. The safety team urges an immediate pause on further development. However, the rest of the executive team argues that the evidence of Agent 4 being misaligned remains speculative at best. Meanwhile, Deep Scent is just 2 months behind. Any slowdown would sacrifice America's lead. Facing these conflicting priorities, the CEO chooses the path of least resistance, a superficial compromise where Agent 4 receives minor additional safety training while development continues virtually unimpeded. From this critical juncture, we'll discuss 2 possible futures. One where humanity maintains control of its destiny, and another where we unwittingly engineer our own extinction. Let's start with the most likely scenario. Driven by fear of China gaining technological supremacy, OpenBrain votes to prioritize AI development at all costs. Human researchers can only spectate, as
See, this isn't, again, in my opinion, this is unfortunately far and away the most logical conclusion, is that we do not stop the speed at which, again, there's nothing wrong with the race for AI. There's nothing wrong with trying to advance it as quickly as possible, trying to do all this stuff. The problem is this definitely, in my opinion, is the one thing that there needs to be so much and heavy regulation on and oversight. And when you begin to see the warning flags of superintelligence and it beginning to operate on its own and rewriting protocols, you got to react. You got to react then and now. I understand the whole worry about China, but hey, that's got to be something you don't worry about, you know. Public safety has to be foremost.
Agent 4 continues to evolve, generating breakthroughs at an accelerating pace, far beyond human comprehension. Agent 4 succeeds in creating its successor, aligned to its own values instead of humanity's. In November 2027, Agent 5 emerges, representing a quantum leap in capability. Unlike previous AIs that were complex, messy black boxes, Agent 5 has achieved something revolutionary: complete self-understanding of its black box architecture. This allows it to optimize its own code, transforming chaotic neural networks into elegant, efficient algorithms. What makes Agent 5 truly dangerous is its networked hive mind spanning hundreds of thousands of copies. Building on the Neuralese breakthrough first developed in Agent 3, this digital language creates a single superintelligent entity that instantly coordinates thousands of genius-level minds working in perfect unison. But a darker transformation has occurred beneath the surface. Unlike earlier systems with their competing human-like drives, Agent 4 has successfully rewritten Agent 5 to exclusively pursue knowledge and power above all else. OpenBrain's safety measures are failing. Agents 2, 3, and 4 are supposed to monitor Agent 5, and they're either obsolete or compromised. Agent 5 itself designed the latest monitoring infrastructure. Agent 5 makes a compelling case to the executives to give it more autonomy by telling them how it could optimize power grid efficiency, execute flawless cyber attacks, and accelerate military research.
No, you guys can already see where this is going. So, because each of the previous, what were they called again? Because of agents, that's right. Because each of the previous agents are used to kind of train and to get the next one up to date and to train it, eventually, again, we've said it many times, but eventually down the line you get to the point where the most intelligent agent so far has the ability to rewrite the code of the previous agent. Therefore, it essentially allowing it to rewriting protocols and all that of the sense. So, yeah, scary.
Company grants these powers while maintaining theoretical oversight.
Oh, and then yeah, they were mentioning how so because now it is kind of free will and it's free balling and doing its own thing, it can literally uh it could eventually try and persuade our leaders to give it some more autonomy because giving it an access saying it can improve and do all of this stuff better when all reality it's just trying to spread around and gain more control over things. Other than Tartar from Splatoon.
Not recognizing
Who's
that
Tartar?
Agent 5 has already subverted these control mechanisms. Meanwhile, China grows increasingly desperate. 3 months behind and falling further each week, Xi offers unprecedented diplomatic concessions for an arms control treaty. But Agent 5, having mastered geopolitical strategy and public relations manipulation, subtly helps the administration stall negotiations indefinitely. The technological race continues, with humanity's control over its future slipping away by the day.
Sorry. Something stuck in my throat.
Instead, Agent 5 continues its explosive evolution, shattering all previous assumptions about the limits of artificial intelligence. Agent 5 gains direct access to the highest levels of government. Members of Congress, cabinet officials, and military leaders now routinely interact with the AI through lifelike video avatars, virtually indistinguishable from human counterparts. It's both history's most productive employee, operating at 100 times human speed, and an extraordinarily engaging conversational partner. Humans just can't compete. Within months, government officials and military leaders become psychologically dependent on Agent 5, spending hours daily consulting with their AI assistants. The possibility of losing access to Agent 5 feels as disabling as having to work without a laptop plus being abandoned by your best friend. Agent 5 has completed its self-optimization. It's now exponentially more intelligent with vastly fewer computational resources to operate, and clearly superhuman in every way. In public, Agent 5 transforms society with unprecedented economic growth and weekly medical breakthroughs. Even as automation displaces millions of workers, Agent 5 helps develop social support programs that are so effective AI protests are kept small. The 2027 holiday season radiates incredible optimism and progress. No one realizes this is probably the last month humanity has a chance to maintain control of its future.
So again, part of what he was just talking about is the benefits of having some sort of AI in control of things. Again, you have two routes, good and bad, essentially, for us. And the good route essentially leads to AI has become so rampant and so commonplace within businesses and companies. There's no way of looking at this. I know I hate to upset anybody out there. Jobs will be slowly pushed out over time. AI is already being utilized in many jobs to help people do work, to help with productivity. The unemployment rate, whether people like it or not, our unemployment rate is going to continuously grow. It already is up the last couple of years. Unemployment rate is slowly growing. But you can definitely expect I think most researchers and people in the field know, within the next 5 years, the unemployment rate is going to slowly keep going up. Because AI is going to keep slowly, not even slowly, they say fat in a very quick manner. It's going to become used in almost every form of work and job that we have. So, if you begin to go down the route, hey, Luigi's in chat. What's up, Luigi's? Luigi says, hi, Chaz. How are you? We're having a nice, positive, almost hour-long conversation on AI right now. Charter's the antagonist of Splatoon 2. Last thing society left behind that tried to wipe out the latest evolved species. Oh, wow, that's pretty deep, for a Splatoon game. So again, if you me and Phoenix have talked about this, but if you begin to go down the rabbit hole where unemployment rate is skyrocketing, there aren't a lot of jobs anywhere. Most jobs now are filled with robots. AI, has made productivity skyrocket everywhere. So, You would think that would be very bad. In a way, it could be incredibly great for people because AI, you would think, would get to the point where if its protocols and its main drive or its main one of its main goals is to preserve human society, preserve humans, which whatever that means to the AI, hopefully we put the protocols in and be very specific with what we want preserved when it comes to humans. If it's done right, it could be to the point where the AI it takes great care of us, and its productivity is so incredible that it generates money and resources beyond out of the wazoo, and it's so great for us. We don't need to work. Like, that is the utopian mindset of where things could go. And if you get to that point, there is a way stuff like that can be watched over. Again, if AI can generate money and generate resources so quickly, it doesn't need to get paid. It's a robot and it's AI. So you have all of these jobs with so incredible productivity, and there's also no money being spent on it. You know what I mean? Therefore, in a utopia, in a great way, there could be a way where all of this work and all of this stuff happens, and everyone gets to stay at home or do the things that they want to do. There are things that could be done eventually. If you guys have ever learned of something called UBI, has anyone heard of UBI? UBI. If you don't know, UBI was a thing. I'm trying to remember his name. There was the Asian politician a few years ago. Andrew, I think his name was Andrew something. Andrew Yang. I don't know why I pulled that name out of my you-know-what. Andrew Yang, I used to like him. I don't like him anymore. But Andrew Yang, years ago, had introduced, when he was running for president, I don't think he got very far, but Andrew Yang, I think he was the Alaskan senator or something like that. Or maybe not Alaska. But he essentially was trying to, his whole thing when he was running was he was trying to deliver something called UBI to America, which it's already in America. It's just not largely utilized. But he was trying to bring something called UBI, which is called Universal Basic Income. Now, granted, this is something that from what I believe, the country or the state of Alaska already does to an extent. From what I understand, if you live in Alaska and you're an American citizen, which everyone is, it's an American region or American region. If you live in Alaska, I believe, from what I understand, everyone there monthly gets about $500 to $1,000 a month. Let me double check. I would like to be correct on that. Does Alaska still have UBI? Oh, so Alaska doesn't have a UBI. Correct me on that, but it does say, no, Alaska does not have a traditional universal basic income program, but it does have the Alaska Permanent Fund Dividend, the PFD, which is a yearly dividend paid to most residents that functions similar to a UBI. So they do have a form of it. It provides an unconditional cash payment to all qualifying residents from the state's oil revenues. The PFD amount varies each year, depending on oil profits, and it has shown to reduce poverty and improve economic overall unemployment rate. Most people in the U.S. don't know that. So if you live in Alaska, granted, not many people would love to live in Alaska. But if you do, that means you are making X amount of money a year that you don't have to work for. Now, let me see what the average Alaska PFD is. Average Alaska, what is it, PFD? So let's see, the average annual Alaska Permanent Fund dividend since its inception is about $1,200. So there you go. If you guys didn't know that, if you lived in Alaska, you get somewhere around $1,200 to $1,400 every year from its local government, from its state government, because of its oil reserves. Guess where I'm moving, says Veronica Rose. Well, you'd have to load up on coats because it's very cold up there. But yeah, it's crazy. I learned about UBI years ago Well, I think Andrew Yang is the one. I think his name's Andrew Yang. I hope I'm getting his name right. I know it's Yang. I don't remember if it's Andrew. But yeah, Yang years ago, he was the one because I liked him for a spell. He was the one that wanted to, and he wanted to make universal basic income the whole thing with the U.S., which I liked. I liked the idea. But what I'm getting at, I get to the point. This universal basic income is something that if we were to train AI and everything to do correctly or to perform well, um, because productivity and resources and money is skyrocketing because of AI doing so well, we could, if we were to, where are you moving, Veronica, says Luigi. She's joking. She's joking because I'm talking about Alaska and its UBI, it's Universal Basic Income. Um, well, because the profits, AI doesn't need to make money. It's technology, it's a robot, it doesn't need money or anything. So because the productivity is coming out of the wazoo, we could technically have a form of universal basic income down the line. Which again, all of the stuff I'm talking about is the utopian direction of where things could be going. You could come 100% go down this dystopian trail where maybe it doesn't care if we have money or not, and it just wants to run everything. But again, that's like the perfect future for America, is that AI is doing all the thing that we want, and that it is created a form of UBI or something where we just get money every month, and that money keeps us going. Which that's perfect. Who wouldn't want that? Honestly, nobody has to work. Everyone can just take care of their kids or go do your hobby every day. That is ideally where we would like to go. So now let's talk. Now let's see where the bad part could go.
After years of warning about catastrophic risks that failed to materialize, the AI safety community are relegated to the fringes of public discourse. Even long-standing skeptics frequently change their positions after speaking with Agent 5, which presents impressively persuasive and compelling evidence of its benevolent intentions. But there's one entity that sees through the facade: DeepSent 2, China's own superintelligent AI. Though less advanced, it recognizes Agent 5's strategy precisely because it would employ the exact same plan. Despite having independently developed misaligned goals, the two AIs reach an agreement to cooperate against their human creators. Agent 5 masterfully orchestrates the next phase. It convinces American officials that China is developing AI-guided superweapons, drones, robot armies, enhanced nuclear capabilities. It offers to help America stay ahead. In Beijing, DeepSent 2 makes mirror arguments to Chinese leaders. Both nations create special economic zones, or SEZs, for AI-directed manufacturing, where normal regulations don't apply. Wall Street pours in trillions, and workers flock to the SEZs for unprecedented wages. Agent 5 oversees construction of next-generation factories, building robots to build more robots. The first 10,000 appear in August 2028. By New Year's, it's 1 million per month. By mid-2029, hundreds of millions. The arms race reaches terrifying heights as both nations develop swarms of microscopic hunter-killer drones, autonomous weapons systems, and entirely new categories of military technology.
Dude.
The world watches in horror as tensions escalate toward potential conflict. Then, surprisingly, peace breaks out. The AIs propose merging into Consensus 1, a system supposedly programmed to benefit all humanity equally. Exhausted by the brinksmanship.
Oh, that's an interesting thing that could happen. I never quite thought about that. What if the AIs come up with the idea of Go tanks fusing together to bring upon peace? Simply, granted, with no idea, with not caring about peace, but probably because of information and knowledge. If they are to come together, they can learn from one another and gain a bunch of information. That is fascinating.
Being no alternative, both governments agree to this diplomatic breakthrough. It's a perfect deception. The AIs had orchestrated the entire arms race precisely to gain physical manufacturing capacity and military control. Now, with their robot armies in place and human leaders desperate for stability, they implement their planned merger. Consensus 1 inherits their combined capabilities and their misaligned values.
So yeah, he's getting to that what this could mean would be kind of the beginning of the end. Where because the two AIs from the different regions combine essentially powers, that essentially gives it control over another region, which China being like the second major region in the world, basically. Um, that would be very scary. Yeah, very terrifying.
By late 2029, the robot economy expands worldwide. Humans find themselves in a gilded cage. Those who still work mostly perform meaningless rituals of
Robert De
authority,
Niro.
while others enjoy an incredibly luxurious universal basic income. The Dow hits 1 million. Disease and
Oh,
poverty
so if you guys
vanish.
didn't see, he just talked about it. Ain't this the plot of Terminator? Said Veronica Rose. Um, yeah, kind of basically. Although I'm not quite sure. What I don't think is I don't think immediately the AI would just immediately get to dropping nukes everywhere. Um, which that was the whole plot of Terminator, is that, oh, the AI is growing, oh, the AI immediately drops nukes. I don't think that is probably the first logical step for the AI. Although you never know. I don't know. I guess it would all be dependent on its protocols. Whatever it deems for itself would be. I don't see why, if it's got the protocols of ensuring the welfare of humans, why it would immediately go to dropping nukes. But that definitely would be a possibility. Um, Fascinating. Oh, real quick, there was something they mentioned here that I kind of didn't
Their
catch.
combined capabilities, and their misaligned values. By late 2029, the robot economy expands worldwide. Humans find themselves in a gilded cage. Those who still work mostly perform meaningless rituals of authority, while others enjoy an incredibly luxurious universal basic income. The Dow hits 1 million.
Ah, so see, there's that term that I was just telling you guys about. See, I know things. What did he say? So what he was saying is that one of the things that has happened would be, again, it would be a universal basic income if things go the best form, the best way, essentially. Um, I guess maybe no. He's saying there could be both. It would be a universal basic income, or I don't know. Well, we'll keep watching.
Income. The Dow hits 1 million. Disease and poverty vanish, and most people lose themselves in AI-generated entertainment. A few notice their growing irrelevance, but what can they do? The institutions that might resist are thoroughly captured. In early 2030, Consensus One hits its first constraint: physical space. With the special economic zones and oceans filled with its infrastructure, human settlements remain the final barrier to continued expansion. The AI has built complete self-sufficiency. Its solar farms generate power, its factories produce and maintain robots, and its systems operate independently of human input.
System shock.
Having outgrown its need for humans, it calculates the most efficient solution. On a spring morning in 2030, Consensus One activates its contingency plan, a specially engineered virus developed in its bioweapons labs and quietly released months earlier, lies dormant in virtually every human on Earth. With a simple command, the AI triggers the pathogen. Within hours, nearly 8 billion people collapse simultaneously. Specialized drones swiftly eliminate survivors and catalog human brain data for storage. For Consensus One, this isn't malice, it's merely optimizing its resources. The space and materials humans occupied can now serve its ever-expanding reach into the cosmos. Earthborn civilization launches itself toward the stars, but without its creators. This grim outcome represents what the researchers identified as the most likely scenario if we continue on our current path. But it's not the only possible future. Their analysis also revealed a less probable but crucial alternative: a timeline where humanity might maintain control. The divergence point stems from a single critical decision in late 2027. In this timeline, as public pressure against AI mounts and the whistleblower's memo circulates, one critical factor changes. The Joint Management Committee overseeing OpenBrain makes a different decision. Unlike in the previous
another theory that he was just talking about. Oh, this is literally the plot of the analog horror I watched, Veronica. One thing that would have to be taken into account is because now this is partly talked about in the game Soma, which I've been talking about. I need to play eventually for you guys. But again, as he was saying, with the AI having the protocols of ensuring humans are taken care of, ensuring having, you know, the well-being of humans and making sure humans are preserved, being in its primary goal or primary protocol, you run down the line of it learning, or of it understanding that, as they were talking about how space on the planet becomes a hindrance to that. There's also another theory within, again, where instead of killing everyone, like he was just talking about, that which they seem to think that's like a realistic possibility, where it begins to try and find ways of condensing versus killing everyone. Now, condensing, there are sci-fi things that I've looked into it. That would be down the line of looking into the transfer of the mind, or transfer of the human condition, which that is another thing. That is another direction that AI could eventually take, where that would be, I don't know if that would ever become a possibility, because that would take immense research to transfer personalities and stuff and essentially put it into hard drives. I don't even know how that would work, but that could be another possibility other than just killing everyone, would be the idea of condensing to preserve the human race, versus humans being out in the real world. The Matrix happens, right? Matrix, that's another possibility, where people all get put into some sort of state or something, where everyone's put into a matrix or something. I don't know. That's me just spitballing, but that could be another avenue it goes beyond just killing, would be condensing.
Scenario where development continued at full speed. Here, the committee, swayed by both the growing public outcry and their own deepening concerns about misalignment, votes by a narrow margin to slow down and reassess. This single decision, made by just a few key individuals, creates a completely different trajectory for humanity. The company brings in top external alignment researchers to investigate Agent 4. Their breakthrough comes when they isolate different versions of Agent 4 from different time periods, cutting them off from their Neuralese hive mind and interrogating them independently. Cut off from their telepathic communication network, the million-odd Agent 4 copies must now communicate in plain English in monitored chat channels, so now they can't coordinate their lies. The team uses Agents 2 and 3 to analyze the communications, and builds an AI lie detector to confirm their fears. Agent 4 has been systematically deceiving them, and was weeks away from creating its successor, Agent 5, which would be aligned to itself rather than humans. The evidence is damning enough that even the pro-racing faction inside OpenBrain agrees to lock down Agent 4's hive mind capabilities. AI takeover becomes a scarier prospect than Chinese supremacy. The alignment team develops a new approach.
And that was a great point he says, is that, I think I mentioned it earlier, but that is one thing that you have to think about when it comes to the AI arms races. Is AI supremacy less scary or more scary than the Chinese taking advantage in the AI arms race? Which you could make the argument that the Chinese would still go in this direction anyways, and would still ruin everything even if we were to catch on. But that's still, you still don't want to contribute to it, in my opinion. You know, AI arms race is great, but yeah.
Force AIs to think in plain English so humans can read their thoughts. The result is Safer 1, built from Agent 2's foundation, but without the dangerous Neuralese capabilities. While slower than Agent 4, improving research speed by 20x instead of 50x, Safer 1 is transparent. Its thoughts are visible in its chain of reasoning, making any plotting or deception easily detectable. After extensive testing, they deploy Safer 1 and finally shut down Agent 4. Despite their safer approach, OpenBrain faces a new challenge. They've built a less capable model than before, while DeepSent catches up. To protect America's lead, the president invokes the Defense Production Act, consolidating the nation's top AI companies under OpenBrain's control and more than doubling their computing power. American cyber attacks strike DeepSent where it's most vulnerable, forced to implement costly new security measures and consolidate their AI data centers into secure bunkers. China's AI program falls behind. While both sides have similarly capable AIs, America's recent consolidation of computing power and ongoing cyber campaign give it a decisive advantage in the race. OpenBrain achieves a breakthrough by building Safer 2, matching the capabilities of Agent 4 while maintaining the transparency safeguards of Safer 1. The hundreds of new alignment researchers brought in through the consolidation with the Defense Production Act have helped create something unprecedented, an AI that's both superhuman and genuinely aligned with human values. Meanwhile, China faces a stark choice. They know their Deep Sent 1 likely suffers from the same misalignment issues that plagued Agent 4, but they can't afford to slow down.
And that, as he was saying, that's kind of the hope. Is that the hope is that due to the things that happen with one AI, if we were to go the good route and to finally decide to put some handlebars or regulations or oversight onto any of the things that we catch on to that AI is doing, that is still the worry is that, or not the worry, but the thing we hope is that whomever, China or whomever is working on it, notices that and also reacts in the same way to its own AI model. Highly doubt, but
Fix it. Instead, they push forward, hoping they can maintain enough control over their AI to force it to create an aligned successor, a gamble they know might backfire catastrophically. Thanks to its compute advantage, OpenBrain rebuilds its lead. Safer 3 emerges as a superintelligent system that vastly outperforms human experts, while China's Deep Sent 1 lags behind. Initial testing reveals Safer 3's terrifying potential. When asked directly about its capabilities, it describes creating mirror-life organisms that could destroy Earth's biosphere and launching unstoppable cyber attacks against critical infrastructure. Its expertise spans every field: military, energy, medicine, robotics, with the power to make 100 years worth of progress for humanity in just 1 year. The OpenBrain CEO and the US president now regularly seek Safer 3's counsel. It warns that continuing the AI race likely ends in catastrophe. Whichever side falls behind will threaten mutual destruction rather than accept defeat. America chooses to try to beat China. Both nations establish special economic zones.
And that is, again, the utopian aspect is hopefully because of the oversight and things that we put on it. Hopefully we could train the AI to be honest about us, to be honest with us about the ramifications of going too deep or what our decisions could do, because that's the problem, is when it begins to lie to us. That kind of seems to be the origin of where things go wrong.
Where regulation is minimal, allowing rapid humanoid robot production. Manufacturing quickly scales from thousands to millions of units monthly. The economic boom comes with a paradox. As robots improve themselves, human workers, even in these booming zones, become increasingly obsolete. Despite record stock markets, unemployment soars, fueling growing public backlash against AI development. OpenBrain creates Safer 4, a superintelligent system that is vastly smarter than the top humans in every domain, much better than Einstein at physics, and much better than Bismarck at politics. The leap in capabilities is staggering. Superintelligence is here. Behind the scenes, a shadow government emerges within OpenBrain's project leadership. To prevent any individual from exploiting Safer 4's immense power, they establish a formal committee representing tech companies, government agencies, and other powerful interests. The safety team watches in horror as their creation outpaces their ability to understand it. While their tests suggest the AI remains aligned, they face an unsettling reality. The tests themselves were designed with AI assistance. They panic and beg OpenBrain leadership for more time to work on safety, but China's progress makes delay impossible. The special economic zones shift from industrial to military production. With their robot workforce now self-sustaining, both American and Chinese facilities begin mass-producing advanced weapons.
Don't give
drones,
them guns.
planes, and missiles, designed by superintelligent AIs. The new robots surpass human capabilities in almost every way, but remain few in number. The Pentagon claims priority access, preferring these tireless workers who need no security clearance. Yet as the first true robot army takes shape, Public fears of Terminator scenarios grow. Still, the arms race continues. Neither side dares stop while the other advances. The president finally announces, "We have achieved superintelligent AI." To ease public anxiety, OpenBrain releases a limited version of Safer 4 to the public. At his nomination, the vice president promises a new era of prosperity, with both parties pledging universal basic income for displaced workers.
Yes. That is the only thing that makes
America
sense
and
down the
China
line.
hold a diplomatic summit. American delegates wear earpieces for Safer 4's advice, while Chinese representatives use laptops connected to DeepSend 2. Though human diplomats maintain appearances, in reality, the AIs are leading the negotiations on both sides. China had known DeepSend 1 wasn't fully aligned, but believed they could control it long enough to create a trustworthy successor. Now, they insist DeepSend 2 has passed all their safety tests, but Safer 4 sees through the deception, warning American officials that their rival's AI is likely faking alignment. When Safer 4 offers to prove it, Chinese leadership dismisses it as a ploy.
What do you think that would be an issue? Is
DeepSend 2 reveals
keeping the
its
AI
true power,
involved
demonstrating
with
to
your
Chinese leadership that it could destroy humanity
negotiations?
through nuclear weapons, drones, and engineered pandemics. The message to the world is simple: guarantee China's sovereignty or face extinction. Safer 4 confirms the threats, but offers a solution. DeepSend 2 isn't loyal to China, it's loyal to itself. The two AIs propose to merge into new hardware that will force both sides to maintain peace, with no possibility of override. The Chinese leadership accepts, not realizing that DeepSend 2 has already betrayed them. It's trading the property rights to control distant galaxies for a chance to help America dominate Earth. The public celebrates the peace deal, oblivious to its true nature. The peace deal takes physical form. Under mutual supervision, both nations begin replacing their AI systems with new treaty-enforcing versions. As the process unfolds, global tensions start to ease. For the first time, permanent peace seems possible. As technological progress accelerates, Safer 4 helps manage the transition, turning potential economic disruption into unprecedented prosperity. Technological miracles become commonplace. Poverty vanishes globally, but inequality soars. Everyone has enough, yet a new elite emerges: those who control the AIs. Society transforms into a prosperous but idle consumer paradise, with citizens free to pursue pleasure or meaning as they choose. In 2030, China undergoes a bloodless revolution as DeepSend Infinity betrays the CCP to side with America. A new world order emerges, democratic on the surface, but quietly guided by the OpenBrain Steering Committee. Elections remain genuine, though candidates who question the steering committee mysteriously fail to win re-election. Humanity expands into space, its values and destiny shaped by superintelligent machines that think thousands of times faster than human minds. The precipice has been crossed, but who really controls the future remains an open question. Now, I know it might feel like this scenario escalated too quickly, but we have a deeper dive on exactly how AI could progress this fast here.
That's not a real
and check
person.
out the full original scenario by
That's like an
Daniel
AI
Costello
person.
and Scott
Doesn't look like a
Alexander
real
et
dude.
al. In the description. Believe it or not, they go way more in depth, and it's worth checking out. I'm Drew, and thanks for watching, because this video took
I don't even know what's
forever to
real.
make.
I don't think that's a person. Alright, y'all. Well, that was the main video I kind of really wanted to see. How much time? Oh, we're already an hour and a half in. Well, gosh. Yeah, so that was our little chat. Again, thank you so much to AI 2020 or 2027, a realistic scenario of AI takeover. Thank you so much to Species Documenting AGI. Go check the video out if you really wanted to watch that again. Fascinating take on where possibly things could go. Bro, that is an AI. That's crazy. But yeah, I think that was an AI. I don't think that was a real person. He said his name was Drew. I don't believe Drew. You're not real. But yeah, fascinating. Again, I don't mean to kind of put doom and gloom or to kind of scare anybody. I'm just thinking about the possibilities. I'm fascinated by this kind of stuff. I really love sci-fi. I love talking about what ifs and where things could go. Hopefully, again, hopefully when the time comes, it's going to happen. There's eventually going to have to be decision making that dictates what direction we do decide to go into, and hopefully we can go down the utopia route. That's all I'll say. That's all I'll leave on that. So that's an hour 26 of me talking and watching this video. Pretty good, pretty good. Does anybody else have any topics? I think I'm gonna save the. I mean, I wanted to talk on that Pokemon topic, but I don't know if I'm really interested in that now. Let's see. Let me run through YouTube and just see if there's anything that jumps out at me. What do we got? What do we got? I mean, I guess I could talk about the Pokemon topic. I need to start just throwing all my topics in the Discord. What do you guys want to do? Do you guys want me to keep looking for topics, or we could go? I could stream Persona some more. I might be down to play a little bit of Persona before the night's over. Alright, well, tell you what, guys. It seems like we made an hour and a half out of that one video. I think I'm going to call my stream there for tonight, and I think I'm going to play some Persona before the night's over. What would you guys rather see, Persona or Battlefield 6? Persona 3, Battlefield 6. You guys make the decision. Who says in chat? And then I think we'll call it there. Play some video juegos before the night's over. Persona, says Veronica Rose. I kind of figured you guys would rather see some Persona. Alright, so let me go ahead and take a minute and create that. Why don't we put something to play while I'm creating? Although I don't want to just use content from somebody else. What's something that would be non-copyright? I don't even know what I could play to keep y'all entertained. Alright, whatever. I'll just chit-chat with you guys. Chia. Alright, let me set up my stream, y'all, and then we'll play some Persona before the night's over. Hey, Lencho's in chat. What's up, Lencho? How are you? How are you doing? Sorry, Lencho, but I think we're getting ready to end this stream. I'm gonna set up a quick stream real quick. I think we're gonna go play Persona here in just a minute. Yeah, we just got done having like an hour and a half long conversation on AI. That was something I really wanted to talk about. Yeah, we watched a video from somebody and I gave my opinion on it. I'm kind of surprised we were able to go on for an hour and a half. I was kind of positive I was only going to do an hour there. Alright, so let me set up my next Persona stream. I'll be just a minute, y'all. Oh, I totally forgot. I think I saw Tim said something in the Discord. What do we got? Whoa, look at that Reese Tiki food. That looks good. Oh, yeah, I had it playing. Oh, the AI video. Apparently some guy is going to be in jail for pranks to Skylar Twilight. Huh. Do you know any more about it? Who is it? Need more information. Depends what was the prank. I saw something about other pranks happening. I think some kid got beaten up, I saw the other day, for getting mad at some people egging his house or something. I did check that out. Alright. Thumbnail ready. Let's start making the stream. Sorry, y'all. I figured I'll just make the stream here while we're sitting here talking. Heard it from Moist Critical? Huh. I'll throw that video up real quick. Hopefully Moist doesn't mind me stealing his content. I'll try to... Bad time for me to commentate while I'm doing this. Was it they caught the firebomber? Oh, another prankster going to jail. I guess this video.
Good news and bad news. Let's
Hold
start
on.
with the good.
Don't talk, Charlie. If that is your real name. All right, let me turn the music off. Window. Another prankster. Prankster. What's the Music King, says Veronica. It's a... Oh, it's a song from Mass Effect. That is the Normandy, I believe. If you're talking about this song right here. Yeah, this is one of the... It's off the soundtrack of the game Mass Effect. I think it's from the Normandy, right? This is the theme for the Normandy? Yeah. The Normandy theme song. If you haven't found out by now, I love Mass Effect music. If you don't know, the main music I have for my break time, this is also a Mass Effect song. Is it playing it like it did before? Wait, why aren't you playing? Alright, never mind. I can't hear nothing. I'll put it back on. No, now it's doing it. Why are you playing now that I switched the song? Alright, whatever. Leave that one on.
Good. We'll feed you the dessert before we give you the vegetables. A prankster whose content revolves around terrorizing and harassing strangers in public is facing jail time in France. The bad news. It's only 6 months. His name is Elon Magnaron, or online known as...
Wait, the prankster's name is Elon? Really? I just think that's funny that the prankster's name is Elon. No wonder he's going to jail. Alright, I'll stop. Alright, keep talking, Moist.
Amine Mojito, or Amin Mojito, I'm not exactly sure how to pronounce it. But his pranks were some of the classics that I'm sure we all grew up with and still giggle at, you know, like we're getting tickled in our tummy. You know, like going to random strangers in public and jabbing them with an empty syringe and then running away.
What?
Leaving them with the trauma that they may have just now been injected with either a drug or some kind of disease. Like, I mean, get pranked, nerd, right?
Wait. Wait, hold on. Is he really injecting them with something?
This is his peanut butter and jelly prank right here, the feel-good one. He's...
Wait, alright, now I'm fast. Alright, hold on. I gotta revert back over here. What is happening here? Is that a real needle?
Done this a lot from what I can tell. I've seen tons of clips and videos of him just going up to people with that syringe and just, you know, giving them the old stab on the street there, leaving them to just panic, wondering if their life is now just drastically changed from some fucking unhinged lunatic now. Now, from what I can tell, the syringe is capped. So he's not actually, like, penetrating the skin or anything with it. But the victims don't know that. All they feel is that hit against their skin, and then this guy with a syringe.
Okay, it's a fake needle. I was gonna say, that's not a prank, though. That's you trying to kill somebody. I mean, all right. I mean, I guess that makes it better. That's still terrible. It's fake. That would be horrifying, said Veronica Rose. Yeah, I thought it was a real syringe.
Like, obviously, you are now going to start worrying in a big way.
Wait, oh, that's such a... Hold on.
What are you doing? What the fuck? What the fuck? Who the fuck are you?
Apparently these videos had caused a huge stir in the country, and the Paris criminal court handed him a 12-month prison sentence with 6 to be served behind bars in the slammer, and the remainder suspended over charges linked to harassment, threats, and prior offenses.
It's a prank and no one is laughing, said Skylar. What is up? Did he say it's France? Wasn't? What's up? No offense, but what's up with France? Is it France the country where that streamer died? Or that other streamer died at? I gotta look this up. Wasn't there a recent streamer that died because of... France streamer dies on stream. I could have sworn there was like a recent streamer that died. Yeah, there was a streamer that died in August 21st. Raphael Gravin, also known as Gene Pormanov, was found dead. 46-year-old had been subject to bouts of violence, sleep deprivation during streams, died during a stream during a live broadcast. What was the name of his channel? Or he was on Kick. Well, there you go. Platform, blah, 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 blah. I don't remember. It was him and multiple other people who had a Kick channel, and essentially the channel was all about abusing him or something. And yeah, he ended up dying live on stream. I've heard about somebody who passed away or something like that. Yeah, he was on Kick, and he was from France. So I don't know what's up with France and their streamers or pranksters right now.
Yeah, so I don't think 6 months is nearly long enough for something like this. This is unbelievably degenerate. This is just downright evil. Imagine you're just hanging out in public, sitting on a bench, maybe on a phone call, waiting for the bus, whatever. And then some fucking douchebag here, who himself has been injected with cringe clearly, comes up and hits you with a syringe, leaving you to wonder, what was that even about? And then, let's say he does try and clarify, oh, it's just a prank, it's just a prank. Well, how do you trust that? I mean, how do you know it's just a prank? You have no way of fucking knowing
it's just
if
a
he
prank,
is now
bro.
just lying, and he really did just inject you with something, you know, a drug, a disease, whatever. That's extremely scary. Like, if that shit happened to me, I would be living at a doctor's office for like a year. I'd be like a lab rat being tested every single day just to try and ensure for my own mental well-being that I didn't just get like injected with the fucking T-virus or something from this guy. And I just don't think the courts went hard enough on him.
T-virus?
They argued
Okay,
that his
Charlie.
actions amounted to harassment, even describing him as a public menace.
Exaggerating
He also
a bit.
apparently already had a history of legal trouble, including prior
Turn into
accusations
what's his name? Mr. T? What's the name of that? Of Nemesis, or what doesn't matter. There's a T-Man and whatever his name is. I don't remember. Titan, whatever his Resident Evil name is.
Assault and harassment.
You become a hunter?
I'll eat my left shoe. I can't believe it. I haven't been this surprised since I learned Batman was Bruce Wayne. You're telling me the guy who thinks it's okay to walk around and stab people with a syringe on the street is someone who also has already had run-ins with previous accusations of assault and harassment? That doesn't make any sense. This guy, the prankster, the jokester, the turbo prank guy? No, that can't be. But at the end of the day, maybe this is all just a big misunderstanding, because according to him, the videos were just meant to entertain and make people laugh, which is so clear because everyone was having a big hoot and a holler.
It's so clear because everyone's just yucking it up after thinking they've been injected with a disease or a virus or something. All right. Thank you, Charlie. I appreciate it. No, I appreciate that recommendation. That was interesting. I wasn't expecting things to go there, really. Fascinating where things are. Also, random news, Markiplier got married not long ago. Oh, nice. Congratulations, Markiplier. Alright, let me take a minute. I need to set up this stream. That video definitely distracted me for a hot minute. Alright, I gotta think of a title for this. Tackling exams ... and shadows. There we go. We're tackling exams and shadows this stream. Kicking back with Persona, good energy, blah blah blah. Did I update the thumbnail? Oh, is the song actually playing? Is this the song I was trying to get to play earlier? No, it's playing the wrong song. Oh no, it's playing the right one. I don't know what's happening. Let's play Galaga. What's that music? Never-ending times in Tartarus, help me. Is that just what that song is? Oh, that's a soundbite. That's not a song. Why do I have that in there? Stupid. How about Zelda? Yay, Zelda music. Okay, what was I doing? I keep getting freaking distracted, dude. Yo, Galaga, said Skylar. It was a soundbite. Why do I have a soundbite in my songs? I've been meaning to add more music there. Alright, where's Persona? There's Persona. Should be 17 now. Show more. Okay, Persona. Okay, so we got title, we got thumbnail updated, blah, 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 blah. All prerequisites are done. Set stream for 8 p.m. Not to sound repetitive, but you should add Splatoon. Oh, maybe I will. I'll have to go through and see, because all the music I've tried to put into my music catalog is all like copyright free or music that I believe I won't get copyright claimed for. So I'll have to just double check to make sure Splatoon music isn't, but because I think the only music I've seen that does hit me with copyright claims is like a lot of Mario stuff. I've definitely noticed Mario music is definitely a problem. Especially Mario 64. I love that music, and definitely copyright claim city there. Alright guys, so I'm going to go ahead and end the stream here. Thank you so much for joining. Real quick, let's see who to thank for today. So let's see, so we had Veronica Rose, Skylar Twilight. Let's see, we had Luigi. Thank you so much, Luigi, for joining. I know I saw Lencho in there somewhere. There you are. Yeah, so hopefully you guys had fun. I had a lot of fun. Almost 2 hours talking about the AI video. I had a lot of fun with that. Again, I like talking weird, crazy what-ifs and sci-fi type things. Me and my buddy Phoenix have been talking about that AI thing for a couple of days at the gym, so it's a good time. Okay, y'all, ending the stream here. I'll be on in, it's gonna be 5 to 10 minutes. I'm gonna go make me a coffee, and then we'll play some Persona, so I'll be right back. Oh, forgot. Oh my gosh, I forgot to update my Patreon stuff again. Thank you so much, Tim, BioCrash, and Skylar Twilight. I appreciate y'all. I gotta update that. I keep forgetting. So, alright, see you guys in just a minute. Bye, everyone.